And what is up, everybody? I keep seeing reports and so many different things about uh, this whole Bill Cosby scandal. And, I've loved Bill Cosby for as long as I can remember. Okay, even before, I remember 3, 4 years old watching Bill Cosby himself. You know, ever since then, and of course the Cosby Show. I even, as a little boy, I didn't know what it was about. I even like Leonard Six. Even, I don't really remember the movie. But all I knew was Bill Cosby was in it, and for everything that he's done, with his life, and everything that he's made examples of, of his living, should always be remembered. However, when these accusations started happening, it's weird. It's absolutely weird because these women claim that this is stuff that's been happening for um almost for over 20 years now, and even I forget the popular model's name, and it's ridiculous because whenever there was some form of sexual harassment or sexual molestation, especially with somebody who was very important, that's word got out immediately. Um, how many different sex scandals were going on during Bill Clinton's 8 years? None of that stayed quiet. Almost as soon as it happened to the girls, immediately they went public with it. And this was a man who could have buried them. He could have made it who that didn't exist. And who was what's the name of the black Republican? Dude was this close to being president of the United States. In the polls, he was just absolutely dominating, and everybody was happy. People liked him. Out of nowhere, women start coming out saying that what he did, he dropped out of the race because his campaign couldn't handle the scandal. And keep in mind, this guy was a politician for how long? And when the women found out that he was going to be president, and that there's a chance that he could become president, like, no, can't let that happen. What happened with Bill Clinton? Obviously, there was more than there were a couple women involved, and all of all of them more or less said something, but it all came out pretty quickly. These women waited over 20 years to say something about Bill Cosby. 20 years, not to mention it's supposed to be over 20 girls that he did this to. Over 20. And it took 20 years for you guys to over 20 years for somebody to say something about it. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent, but let's just say the first girl that this supposedly happened to would have said something, even if nobody believed her. That would have at least stopped him for a while, or stopped them altogether. Because I don't care how much money you offer me to keep quiet, but if something like that happened, I'm going to tell somebody. I might even take your money and still tell somebody. That that would have made more sense. Not to mention this famous model that supposedly uh, that he supposedly um, drugged and raped as well. The basically I got nothing against Wendy Williams. She's a media personality. She's a great TV personality, and obviously she has a lot of fans. I don't really watch the show, and she hasn't necessarily said anything that I know of that I don't agree with. However, when she was talking about this woman, saying that, oh yeah, how this woman doesn't need anything, she doesn't need anything because she's well off, so she's not out for money like all these other broke women who are accusing him, and then the fact that there's 23 or 22 of them. However, I just know that it's over 20. For this woman to say that, oh yeah, by the second sip of the coffee that she was drinking, she knew immediately that she was drugged. Now, Wendy Williams says, oh, she knew that she was drugged because, as a model, it probably wasn't the first time because apparently this has happened to her before, and it's happened to her more than once. So you mean to tell me that you're in a job that rich and powerful men have the means of doing this to you on more than one occasion, and you're not going to quit? You're going to continue in that business. Idiot. Complete idiot. If you're in a position to have somebody drugs, you're in a business where not just you, but apparently a bunch of your colleagues, your peers, are in a business where you're going to get drugged and raped on more than one occasion. I would think that you'd be smart enough to get out of that business, find something else to do. No, oh, she knows what being drugged feels like. Yes, that's the excuse. And then she's gonna stay quiet about it. She was a celebrity. People who knew who this girl was. They could have, people might have actually listened to her if she would have said something. She said nothing. All these other girls who said nothing, and now all of a sudden coming out of the closet, coming out of the closet, so to speak. So let me get this straight. First girl, this happened to you. I don't know how long. This man continued to do it with over 20 other girls. All of you kept quiet. The man has done so much for the United States, for black people in general, for the realm of comedy. And the man is an American icon. You're making him out to be a monster now, which I totally understand if the accusations are true. But whose fault is that? You knew this man was a monster, yet you stayed quiet. You have nobody to blame but yourselves. Who in their right mind, seriously, who in their right mind would let something like that happen to themselves and let the person just continue to get away with it? And it's not like nobody would have believed you. If the first person would have come out and said something, the first couple of girls would have said something, it wouldn't have gotten as far as it did. If it's true. That's only if it's true. And even with that, as far as statute of limitation, yes, statute of limitation should take place because these girls were too stupid to keep quiet and let him to continue onto however many other girls there were. That's what you know. That's what that's the problem. That's what I seriously don't like about this. You waited till after this man has accomplished more than damn near every other man on the planet to all of a sudden try to try to demonize him. And like I said, if the accusations are true, I understand. But why did you take this long to say something? I can't think of any history. I can't think in the history of celebrities or politics where something like this happened and people kept their mouths shut for over 20 years. Then when this person is is at the pinnacle of what and has done so much for everybody, now all of a sudden it comes out because unless he could have killed you and your family, honest to God, don't see how it's going to take this long for you to say something. Because like I said, the first person would have said something. The first couple of people would have said something. It would have never gotten as far as it did. It is all those other girls. You are just as much to blame because you could have prevented it from happening. So I don't want to hear anything else about this. I know I'm going to, and I'm no, this is probably the one time the race card isn't going to be thrown at me because one, I'm Puerto Rican. Two, even though I'm white, I'm defending a black guy. Who doesn't love Bill Cosby? Who can and the stuff that he said in his in his bits and his shows, who can't relate to any of that? The man has broken so many racial barriers, and this is he was the example of what young black men need to strive for, what young people in general need to strive for, and this comes out. I don't think this is much of a coincidence that something like this would happen. And like I said, all you women who said this happened, it's all your fault because you could have stopped this. You could have stopped this. All it took, one person to say something. Raise suspicion, this, that, the other. And Wendy Williams talking about how, he's not denying it. He's not talking about it. Because what good is that going to do? Because Bill Clinton denied it every single time. And every single time he got found out. And especially with Monica Lewinsky, where he publicly had to apologize for lying to the country for saying that. I remember being in my room listening on the radio, talking about how he had relations with her that he should not have had. Same thing with this other. The black Republican who was about, I don't know his name. I forgot his name. The black Republican who was close to winning. He denied it. Had to drop out the race. So why should Bill Cosby have to say anything? People are going to believe whatever they're going to believe anyway. It's sad. Something like this happened. But like I said, Bill Cosby's not going to say anything because he's got nothing to say. Whether he denies it or confirms, he's got nothing. And all you women who claim this happened, it's all your fault anyway. I'm done talking. Good night.